In the modern world, the self is often treated like a project, something to fix, upgrade, decorate, or make more appealing. But Zen sees the self not as a task, but as a presence, not as something broken in need of glue, but as a cloud momentarily covering the moon. And the moon? It never stops shining. It only seems hidden when the clouds are mistaken for truth. To love the self is not to improve the illusion, but to gently remove what hides the light. Zen does not ask you to build confidence. It asks you to stop believing you ever lacked worth. It does not teach you how to attract love. It reminds you that you are love, eternally whole, quietly radiant. When the ego is silent, the wanderer once walked in hopes of becoming better, to be accepted, to be enough. But one day they simply walked as they were. And in that walking, every step became a blessing. Because healing doesn't mean returning to who you were, it means remembering who you are beneath all the pretending. The trap of needing others to heal. One of the hardest attachments to release is the belief, I need someone else to heal me. It sounds gentle, even romantic. But beneath it lies a subtle wound, because when you say, I cannot heal without them, you are whispering to yourself, I am powerless. Zen dissolves this illusion. It says, no medicine outside you is stronger than your own awareness. Love from others may comfort, but it will never cure what you are unwilling to face alone. You must sit with your grief, your fear, your longing, not to fix it, not to erase it, but to witness it with such compassion that it no longer controls you. In that stillness, the wound begins to close, not because it was stitched by others, but because it was accepted by you. The wanderer came to this understanding one twilight as they sat beneath a fading sky. They whispered, I do not need someone to sit beside me to feel full. I need to sit beside my own truth and not run away. And in that moment, healing deepened. Stillness as the ultimate proof of strength. To sit alone, undistracted, is the greatest act of power. It is easier to chase attention, scroll through illusions, or perform to be seen. But to sit in stillness, unseen, uncelebrated, unneeded, is to say, I do not require the world to tell me I exist. I already know. Zen calls this zazen, sitting meditation, not as a method, but as a return. When you sit, you are not becoming enlightened. You are simply removing the fog. The wanderer practiced this each morning, eyes closed, breath slow, thoughts arriving and leaving like birds in a vast sky. In time, they stopped trying to make the mind quiet. They simply watched. And the mind, being seen without resistance, softened. Self-love is the same. When you stop trying to force yourself to be lovable and simply witness your own being, the need to be loved fades because you are already complete. Letting go of emotional crutches. Sometimes, love is confused with emotional dependency. I feel good when you are near, so I must love you. But Zen shows that is not love, that is leaning. And what you lean on too hard will eventually break or pull you down. To heal yourself is to walk without a crutch. It means no longer assigning your joy, your peace, your worth to anyone outside you. Zen does not condemn relationships, but it warns of the illusion. This person completes me. No one completes you, they only reflect the parts of you you allow to live. So let love be an addition, not a requirement. Let connection be a celebration, not a survival tool. The wanderer realized this one cold morning as fog drifted through the trees. They missed no one, not because they shut out the world, but because they no longer depended on it to confirm their value. They whispered to the wind, I am already home, I walk with my own warmth. Compassion. The secret ingredient of self-love. Self-love is not loud, it is not manicured or polished. It does not scream into the mirror, it simply whispers, even in this mess, you are allowed to exist. You are allowed to breathe. You are allowed to be enough. Zen compassion begins not with others but with the self. Forgive yourself for falling, for trying too hard, for needing, for staying too long, for believing too little. None of this makes you unworthy, it only makes you human. The wanderer once blamed themselves for everything, for being abandoned, for feeling weak, for hurting in silence. But now, with eyes closed under a sky of stars, they smiled and said, "Even this pain is part of my perfection. Even my confusion is sacred." This is the Zen heart, not a heart that avoids pain, but a heart that includes it. Loneliness is the door, not the destination. Many fear loneliness, but in Zen, loneliness is not a curse. It is the entrance, because only in loneliness can one finally see who they are when no one is watching. To heal yourself, you must sit in that discomfort long enough for it to transform. At first, it aches. Then it reveals. Then it dissolves. The wanderer had once feared being alone. Now they welcomed it, like a monk welcomes dawn. The stillness was no longer empty. It was full of presence. They said, "What I thought was abandonment was actually initiation. I was being invited to meet myself." What true self-love looks like in daily life. It means waking up and not checking if someone texted you, but checking how you feel in your body. It means eating slowly, not as a task, but as a ritual of gratitude. It means choosing quiet over noise, presence over distraction, being over proving. It means saying no when your energy feels tight and yes when your soul opens. It means pausing often, breathing deeply and walking slowly, not because you're behind, but because you're no longer rushing towards someone else's approval. The wanderer no longer lived to be seen. They lived to see, not the world, but the moment, the stillness, the sacred. You are the one you've been waiting for. In Zen, the journey always returns you to yourself. The mountain reveals not its peak, but your patience. The moon reflects not its light, but your silence. The breath reveals not your lungs, but your aliveness. At the end of the path, the wanderer found nothing new, only the face they once rejected, the self that was always there, the love that was never missing. And in the deepest stillness they whispered, "I waited so long for someone to come and make me whole, but it was always me." This is the final truth. You are not a hole to be filled. You are a flame to be uncovered. And in the warmth of your own fire, you will never need to beg for light again. The fire that burns without consuming. Zen speaks often in paradox, for truth lives between the lines of logic. And one such paradox is this: you must burn to become whole, yet nothing in you is ever destroyed. The fire of solitude, the fire of silence, the fire of detachment. These are not flames that consume, but that illuminate. They do not burn you into ash, but into clarity. The wanderer had once feared this fire, thought it meant losing who they were. But as the flames rose within, the illusions burned, the need to be needed, the ache to be approved, the desperation to be remembered. And in the absence of those illusions, the wanderer saw the truth. What I thought was me was just a costume, and beneath it I am unshaken. This is the core of Zen self-love. Not a love that adds more, but a love that removes what is not true. Not a love that fills, but one that reveals. How to practice this teaching? In stillness and motion. Words, no matter how wise, are only doors. To walk through them is the true practice. So how does one live this teaching? How does one make self-love real? Let us reflect through the rhythm of daily living. 1. Breathe with full awareness. Each breath is not just air, it is the present moment calling you back. When you feel anxious, unloved, or unworthy, pause. Inhale with gentleness. Exhale with surrender. Repeat until you remember this moment is already enough. 2. Eat with gratitude and mindfulness. Food is not just fuel, it is sacred presence. Prepare it slowly. Chew with awareness. Thank the life that became your nourishment. Through mindful eating, you affirm that your body is worthy of care, even without an audience. 3. Walk without a destination. Go outside, walk not to arrive, but to observe. Let your feet kiss the earth. Let your mind wander like a child without a chore. This is self-love in motion. This is the healing that asks for no therapist, no friend, no audience, only your own presence. 4. Sit with your emotions without judging. When sadness arises, do not say, "I shouldn't feel this." When anger appears, do not push it away. Let the emotion be a visitor, not a ruler. Offer it tea and sit beside it. It will not stay forever. It only wants to be seen. 5. Talk to yourself as you would a friend. When you fail, when you forget, when you fall, do not scold. Speak softly. Remind yourself you are still loved, even now. That voice, more than any outside affection, becomes the source of your inner light. What happens when you stop needing? When you no longer seek love to feel whole, a beautiful transformation occurs. People no longer hold power over your mood. Silence no longer feels like punishment, it feels like music. Rejection no longer shatters you, it becomes redirection. Attention no longer excites you, it becomes background noise. Loneliness no longer chokes you, it becomes your garden. You become still, not stagnant, calm, not cold, clear. Zen teaches when nothing is needed, everything becomes a gift. The wanderer now walked with open palms, not to beg, not to cling, but to bless. They did not need anyone to hold them, but they held everyone with kindness. This is self-love when matured. It turns outward not as dependence, but as generosity. The ripple of wholeness. When a person no longer waits to be loved, their presence becomes medicine. They do not flatter, they speak truth. They do not chase, they attract by peace. They do not cling, they welcome and release. Zen says that when the pond of the mind is still, even the moon cannot help but reflect in it. The wanderer became this still pond, and others, once unaware of such peace, sat beside them, quietly drawn not by charm, but by something rarer, an unshakable stillness. They had become a refuge not only for themselves, but for others. This, too, is self-love, not a performance, not a shield, but a quiet offering of your presence. Return to the core, the sacred aloneness. Zen does not say you must walk life entirely without others, but it insists that you must never be a stranger to yourself. Others may join your path, but they must never replace your center. Your sacred aloneness is your core. From it flows your insight, your creativity, your truth. Protect it. Return to it often. Do not escape to others when your own heart feels uncomfortable. Instead, sit, stay, witness. Let the rain fall. Let the leaves drop. Let the silence speak. Eventually, you will no longer fear being alone. You will crave it, not as a hiding place, but as your temple. A poem for the self. Let this reflection end, not with explanation, but with a quiet, poetic offering. Read this not just with your eyes, but with your breath. I sat alone and found no one, only silence, only breath, only pain that pulsed with memory. I did not run, I did not reach, I stayed, and the silence spoke. It whispered, "You are not forgotten. You are not lacking. You are not waiting for love. You are love, forgotten only by your own eyes. You are light, dimmed only by your own shadow. You are whole, missing only your own embrace." Sit again. Breathe again. Do nothing but witness. This is healing. This is self-love. This is Zen. Thank you for watching. If this message resonated with you, consider subscribing for more content like this. Just click the button below and tap the bell so you never miss a moment of reflection. I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment and let me know what you'd like to explore next. Until then, take care and remember to return to your breath, your being, your light. See you in the next video, in the next